Welcome back, folks. We are back here in Belleville Park. You'll recognize Marked Man. This is where we did the last mission. You see the CIA had the bridge under surveillance. Find another route across. So I was going, damn. Let me back it up so he can get in, knock some people down. I tell you, pedestrians. The pedestrians are the bane of existence in every GTA game. It's like if you could stay in a car, you'd be fine. It's when you have to get out and deal with those damn pedestrians all over the place. Maybe sometimes I think that maybe the driver game where you never left your car and you just drove, maybe they had the right idea sometimes. Anyway, we are back here in Belleville Park. We're going to show you just what happens if you decide to take the bridge. I said the CIA has it under surveillance. We've showed you before the failure thing. If you decided not to believe Maria and you got in the car Salvatore had you go pick up, what happened. So let's see what happens if you decide to try to... There you go, Chance, the CIA. Boom. Those guys have some serious firepower, and they're not afraid to use it. So there's that. Now, what I'm going to do now is we're going to show you the difference in graphics options. And we are going to get to that right now. Now, first up here, you'll notice this is the introductory scene. There's Catalina and the Colombian guy running out. You're running out. This is the PC and PlayStation graphics. You'll notice it's kind of blurry, almost a dreamlike quality. I've heard it described as watery, you know, that kind of blurring effect as they move and all that. Now, up here will be the Xbox. You'll notice much more clear. Look at the Catalina model. Very different clothing model on her. Very different clothing model. And you'll see it whenever they get an update here, close up here. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Look at the outfit. It's very different. A lot more cleavage. None of the blurring, none of the watery look. And the details are much crisper with the Xbox graphics. Right, next up here, we're going to take a look at Claude, if you see him. Now, especially on his model, look down around his knees, his lower legs. You'll see there's joints there. These models in this is the PC and PS2 version. They're made of blocks. The upper leg is one block. The lower leg and foot is a block. The torso is made of a couple of blocks strung together. So you see the arms there, the upper arm and the lower arm are blocks. Look at the hands. We're going to look at the background a little later. Look at the hands. You'll see they're just kind of these club-like things, kind of just blocks. The head is a separate block. Now, what this means is that you can actually shoot pieces off. You've seen me fire before and like shoot off someone's arm, or after an explosion, there'll be a person lying there with body parts lying all over the road. Now, when you see Claude here on the Xbox graphics, you'll notice he's no longer made out of blocks. He now uses what's called skeletal animation. So his figure is thinner. You no longer see the separate blocks that make up parts of his body. They move the underlying skeleton wire, and they stretch the texture over the torso. So you no longer get those dividing lines and all. And the face is different because the face is now texture stretched instead of, or wrapped around the torso there instead of a separate block. We're going to take a look at Donald Love next. We're going to go up. Just look at the cutscene for the next mission with him. You can particularly tell it on his suit here. You'll notice the low texture file of his suit. You'll notice the upper part of his body, the mid part of his body, and the lower part of his torso. There are clearly three separate entities there, three separate blocks. They do get a little different. Look at the heads here, too. Look at Claude's face. Look at his face. You'll see the significant difference in the way that especially Claude's face looks. Without it being a separate block, with it now being a torso, a texture file wrapped around the body unit. Okay, you see Love's suit there is different. You can see wrinkles like in the legs. You don't notice there's buttons on his sleeve. You don't notice the things in his body as much. We'll look at their faces here. You see Claude's face is a good deal different from what we're used to. And his is a little bit, but hidden more because it's actually made of a few more pieces that have to animate. Claude's face never animates. And you see the various textures. Look at the wrinkles in Claude's pants and stuff that you don't get in the original model. All right, we're going to hop back over to the safe house now. All right, guys, we're now at the safe house. I'm going to go into, let's see if I can get into first person here. I might be if I could turn my, let's see. Will it go into first person? It won't go into first person, but I can zoom out a little bit. Okay, here is the safe house. I want y'all to pay particular attention to the textures here on the door and everything. Look at the how compressed they are. That's one thing about the PC version, PC and PS2 version, is that the compression textures had to be compressed a good deal more than they were on the Xbox. On the Xbox, they were generally uncompressed and were a higher definition. Therefore, you see the water tower up there. You see the air conditioning ducts, the steam coming out of the top there. Look at the railing. Look at the stairwell here, the ramp basically that leads up to that door. You see the fire escapes on the sides of the building. There's one right over here as well, and this I guess loading dock here that runs along the side. Look at the door graphics as well, the door graphics and the signage on the doors there. Okay, got that? Got a good idea of what this looks like. Like I said, this is the PC version that we've been playing, and it even has differences between this and the PS2 version. For instance, on the PS2 version, there's those pipes and all that you see above my head do not exist, and that water tank doesn't exist, and these fire escapes here do not exist. None of that exists over here in Portland on the PS2 version. So it's already a step up in graphics quality just playing the PC version here, because you get more detail, more frills, as some of the games would call it, like Lotro with their bushes and all. You get more frills, more background stuff, that useless stuff like the water tower and the fire escapes here. But next, we're going to go over to the Xbox version. I'm going to quit calling it that too. It's not truly the Xbox version. It was, but it's actually what they call now the 10th anniversary is what you should call it, because that's the graphics they use for the 10th anniversary version. It's the graphics they use for most of the mobile versions now. It seems to be the default graphic set that Rockstar uses. So we're going to switch to that now. Okay, and here we are now in the 10th anniversary. Now you're right. Let's call it Xbox because it's easier to say than 10th anniversary. One thing, look at the sign. You'll notice the sign is better resolution. It's a lot sharper. So with the words on the door here, we're getting a little bit different graphics. As you see, we get the stonework graphic. You get the same thing on the side here, where the plasterwork is peeling off of the wall, or the concrete is peeling off of the wall. So you get that. Much more detail, as you can see in the sign there. You can see more detail in the fire escape. The fire escapes here. The structure is much more defined and sharper. All due to those uncompressed graphics. Same thing in the walls and all over here. You'll see drain pipes that did not exist before. You see the red drain pipes that come down. There are two air conditioning vents right where my head is. You see those two vents. They didn't exist. Look over here. This is no longer a ramp. It is actually a staircase now, and has an actual banister, actual railing here, instead of just the bare wall that comes up to form a banister. So you're getting a lot more detail, a lot more particular frills. Yeah, a lot more detail, a lot more particular detail. What's the word I'm looking for? Somebody help me out here. Look at the door there. In the other one, y'all remember the fire escape came down, but there was nothing it went to. Now there's a door right above my head, so that's new. The area right up here on top, that little building that those pipes go into, now has like a cinder block texture. It was in the The PC version, it was the same texture as the wall here that we're looking at, the wall that Eddie's in, but now you can tell it's a separate little unit made out of cinder blocks. So that's good. And mostly, look underneath the loading dock here. The loading dock is now an actual elevated structure. It's got supports. It's not just a monolithic concrete block there. The doors are much more textured. Look at the areas up above the doors. That grill work up there. You've got like these vented grill type things up above the doors. You see them there? You can see them. There's like a little pipe coming out. Much more detail. You can see the hinges on the doors. That's what you get with the uncompressed textures, with the textures not being squeezed so down and of such a low resolution there. So that shows you once again some of the difference you get with this particular graphic set. I am liking it. The only thing I don't particularly like about it really is just I've gotten so used to the old Claude and the way the old Claude's face looks. That's the only thing at the moment that is drawing me away from it. But I'll get used to the new Claude. He's not that different. And heck, we've spent well over half this series without having old controls on, so you never saw his face anyway. All you saw was the back of his head as I was moving him around. You would every now and then see him in a cutscene, and that was about it. And not being able to look at Claude's face is well made up for the changes in Catalina, don't you think? I think so. All right, next up, we're going to look at cars. All right, folks, so we're down here at Portland Harbor. We're sitting out here just next to my absolute favorite car to steal of all time. This is the Kuruma that's always sitting there, the one that's always got a car alarm in it. Like the one that I always take after I've been here at the docks. I want you to look at the rear of it. First of all, look at the lighting. You know, we've seen it before when we're walking around it. You see the specular lighting, the kind of highlighted, kind of silvery white color on it. Once you look at the car, look at the tail lights. See what they look like. Look at kind of the octagon tailpipe there. Look at the black trim around the car windows. And look at the headlights. Okay? Now, let's let my little alarm thing finish over there. I'm going to get into it. And we'll let it start flashing at us. The other thing is you can look at the... let's see, I'm going to hop out again right quick. Let's look at the interior. You see kind of the squared off car seats. You see the pentagon-shaped steering wheel there, which pretty much all the different cars have. All the cars have kind of the strange angular seat tops and kind of the pentagon-shaped steering column there. So we will get out. We'll drive it around. Look at the way the light reflects off it, the specular lighting. You see the various light and dark shapes moving across it. Pretty much your typical car that we're looking at. And y'all have seen me drive a Kuruma many a time. I am trying to bust the front of this car. There we go. Let's see if we can get rid of the hood. There. That's what I was trying to do. Now let's look at let's look at the engine compartment. We'll go up. Get right up here next to it. You know what the engine compartment looks like there. It is see the steam and all coming out of it. You see the engine is a texture. It's a flat area there where the nicely done texture, but it is a texture. It's actually not that bad. You can see the various components of an engine and all that in there. So it's not a bad one, especially if you're away from it just a little bit. There. So you've seen what cars are like. Now let's go take a look at the anniversary / Xbox graphics. And then we are back here at the same old Kuruma. That's always parked here. As you see, the tail lights now. I said look at the tail lights before. The tail lights have silver trim around them. The emblem on the back is much more pronounced and much more detailed. The tailpipe is actually almost round. See there, the smoke pipe coming out, the tail exhaust pipe coming out is a lot more detailed, a lot more round. There's just a lot more polygons. You can see them in the wheels too. The wheels are much more rounded. Look at the tires. They are much more rounded, not nearly as blocky as they were before, as you can see on the Idaho over there as well. Look at the side glass. Look at the side mirror, side windows. The side windows have more trim and all around them, and you can probably see what I'm about to show you as well in the reflections. Let's get in. Not only with the polygons, if you look, there are actual real reflections in the car as we drive around. If we were at nighttime, you would see the street lights and all. Look at the light post there reflected in the top of the car. The crane that we just passed under reflected in it. Along with the higher number of polygons it was able to push, the Xbox 360 at the time was, as you see, able to handle lightings a lot better. So you got things like the actual reflections here. Look at the pedestrians as we drive along as well. Look at the dock worker there that always talks about young man. You can see what the skeletal animation I'm talking about. They don't look nearly as blocky. They got much more naturalistic movement and all to them. Let's see if we can bash this thing up like we did with the other one. You see the hood. The hood is the damage is a bit more detailed as well, a little bit more modeled than it was. More polygons mean you can change the damage to the cars doesn't have to be as angular. And now we will look at the engine compartment. There you go. Engine compartment is no longer just a flat area with a texture on top of it, a pretty compressed texture. The engines and all can actually be made of 3D objects, as you see there. Every car in the game now, every vehicle in the game has got 3D engines inside of it, all the various parts. You can see all the various fluid bottles and the wires going across the top of the hood, and the steam is coming out rather appropriately. So that shows you what cars are like in this too. Things have been very changed around. Look at the lighting reflecting off the windows there. Oh, we'll also take a look at that as well. Let's see if we can cut down, look at the inside. You'll notice the seats, the back of the seats are actually curved. And the steering wheel there is almost, it's not quite a circle, but it's got actually, it's not like an octagon either. It's actually got maybe 12 sides or something. It's almost a circle. A lot better than the five-sided pentagon that the steering wheel was in the last car. Okay, I think next we're just going to drive around and show some environmental areas and all. We'll probably drive through the park, show the trees there. So that would be the next thing, trees and bushes and things of that ilk. So we'll see you back on the PC side of things. Okay, we've made it to Belleville Park. We're sitting here, we're looking at trees. Trees look pretty good whenever you're driving by them and far away from them. But as you can see right here, you get up closer to them, like that one right there, you see that sharp edge where it's basically like two textures put side by side with each other. And you see kind of the artifact around the edges, the zero channel, you know, the alpha channel artifacting there where you can kind of see through it, but not really. See that blue artifacting right up there, right next to the 67, right next to my armor rating, the blue artifacting, where the flat panels and all go. So yeah, all the trees in here are essentially two textures basically crossed into each other, and you can see that as you go along, especially if we run sideways. So that's what the trees, the typical PC, this is the PC version. These are the typical PC trees and bushes and all. Details. I'm still trying to figure out what the hell word I was trying to think of. All I can think of is frills, details. I don't know. Realism? I think details, I was just using details too much, perhaps, is what was disturbing me. I was just kept using that word all the time. Okay, let's get on out of here. There. Okay, so that shows you the park and all, what kind of things we're talking about as far as trees. Let's go down here and look at the water as well. We'll take a quick peek at it. This is the PC water. Okay. That's the PC water for the pond. All right, and let's go over to the Xbox side now. Okay, folks, and here we are in Belleville Park. Here you see the trees are no longer the flat, just cross pieces. They are actually more like trees now. Look at these shrubs here. They're still made of flat panels, but there are a lot more of them. As you see, they add a good deal more bulk and everything to the trees. Some of the trees have their own many different angled pieces there. The textures are much smaller, so I'm sure there's still some artifacting. Yeah, you can see look right above my head there. You still see some artifacting, but because the textures are much larger, they're much higher res, the artifacting doesn't stand out as much. The artifacting is much smaller, so you don't notice it there as we go on past them. Yeah, much more realistic bushes and shrubs. Don't suffer from nearly the problems that the other one did. Okay, let's run down to the bathroom right quick, see any kind of differences down here. Oh, about the same. We can still get back in there. Yep. Okay. Whoops. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Oh, I'm stuck in a loop. I can't get out of the bathroom. No. Alrighty. Oh, let's not go back in there. Okay. And just the detail in the pedestrians and all. Look. Yeah, pretty ugly. So we'll just keep around. Those are some ugly damn faces on those people. Wow, that was pretty intense. All right, there's just one or two more things. I'm actually looking for rain now. That's the last thing that I want to show you. There are other little details, like I said, various objects scattered around. Oh, let's run down to the pond. Let's see if there's any difference in the water in the pond, or if they use the same texture down here. I know they use a different texture for like the ocean water. But yeah, it looks like they use the same detail for the pond water here. Okay. Even the buildings in the distance look sharper and cleaner. Like the Empire State analog there just looks cleaner. Doesn't look as washed out and gray as it is on the other side. Once again, the difference in having a higher level of texture effect there. Okay, let's see if we can catch some rain now. This may take us some driving around, but I will keep doing it until we get some, and then I'll show you the last effect I want to show you, and we'll be back with you then. I didn't think I'd have to wait too long. As you see, it rains close to every day cycle. Very close to every day cycle. So we will pull on up in here. As you see, the rain is coming down. Bit of a downpour. Don't know if we'll get a thunderstorm or not, but we shall see. We shall see. And I'll just sit here and let y'all see the rain coming down. Hey, there are gut splashes. Okay, you'll about to see something in a second. Whenever I pull up the rain on the other graphics that I thought wasn't happening, but yeah, I'd never zoomed around like this before. As you see on top of the car there, you can see a bit of splashing going on. It's a little bit more subtle. Okay, so next up I will switch back over to the Xbox side of things. And we've captured the effect that I wanted to have. Took a little while of driving around, but as you see, we've managed to find some rain. And look at the raindrops hitting the camera here. This is an effect that, as I said, showed up the water splashing on the camera, showed up on the Xbox here, and it was actually carried on over to Vice City when we finish up GTA 3 here and continue. Keep shooting me, guys. I'm in a bulletproof Patriot. I'll just keep firing. When we get on over to Vice City, you'll notice the same effect there. It was whenever I first saw it. The raindrops of it splatter on the camera here. Let's see, and I believe as well, let's pull on up. Is it still raining? Yeah, let's see if we can get out. Oh, look, is it? Yep, look on the top of the car there. See the water splashing? See right over to my left, along the top of the engine there, you see the little water drop splashes on the windshield and on the engine. And I think. If we look down, yeah, right there. Water is no longer splashing on the camera because we're looking down, but if we look up, we're drowning. It's getting up my nose. So there you go. Okay, I'm going to park that back up, and then we're going to drive around until we get the... Okay, we're over in the St. Mark's area, which we can do now that we no longer have to worry about the people in their shotguns. We're just going to cruise through the gas station here right quick. See, just come on through as all the bullets bounce harmlessly off our cars. Look over here where the gas islands are. You can see there's something always conspicuously missing in the PC version. Can you tell what it is? Now, let's see, we're also going to come swinging right down here into the junkyard as well. Take a look down in here. Oop. Take a look at the road texture that I'm driving across. Various textures of the boxes and everything. Oh, as I crush that thing to death. Yeah, you see the road texture in particular, the road and kind of the I guess almost like a sidewalk on either side of it. And boy, is the rumble really giving my controller here a shake as we drive down that really rough dirt road there. I'm just going to drive through St. Mark's for a little while because I'm immune to all of the mafia, so I'll just let them shoot and everything at me, all to their heart's content. And just laugh at them and say, yeah, I killed Salvatore. What you gonna do about it? Okay, we're coming up on the same territory here, but on the Xbox side this time. Notice my car is a little worse for wear. Man, we have really been beaten up a bit. We had a guy over in Diablo's turf who tried to carjack us. Whoa, let's not get... there we go. Tried to carjack us, and we ended up having to run him over, and it ticked the police off a little bit. So we ended up with more high rating than we're used to. But I wanted to swing through here. Take a look over here. What do y'all notice has been placed back in the gas station? I'm wanting to get it just for this. Just for the fact the gas pumps are back. Yay! Alright, and we'll swing down to the junkyard. Take a look around it right quick. You notice the drive is a little different. A little bit more defined. Textures are a little sharper, is just as bumpy and gives me just as much rocking in the controller as it ever did. Okay, so there you go. Said this time around I wanted to show y'all the changes, see what y'all's opinions were. If you have an opinion about which one you would rather see, stick with the classic, kind of blurry PC graphics, upgrade to this one for the last 10 missions or so, and show what, as I say, I call them Xbox graphics, but seriously, this seems to be what Rockstar considers the default graphics of the game to be now. It is what they used for like the 10th anniversary edition and the mobile edition. Most of these graphics are in the mobile edition on the like iPad version and all. So this seems to be what they consider to be the ultimate upgrade and the final version of what the graphics for the game are going to be. I can't see them unless they come out with some kind of really high definition 25th anniversary or 20th anniversary or something in a few years. I can't see them putting a whole lot more effort into GTA 3 here. Take a look. Is this the one with the engine? Yep. And you see, engines are different. Not only do they all have 3D engines, but the engines are all different in there. That is not the same engine that the Kuruma had in it. Oh, love it, love it. So yeah, see what y'all think. I am really thinking about going with continuing along with this particular pack. Like I said, it's primarily a graphics pack more than anything else. It doesn't change anything storyline mission. Doesn't change anything in the missions other than fix a few little errors and that sort of thing. But otherwise, it's just a update to the graphics to get them kind of the highest level that is possible to get them in. So let me know which one you prefer, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your input. Bye-bye.